Hello, Shelley from Spin Cushions here. Today I'm going to show you how to make this pattern called Baffin from my Sirens Atlas collection. Really quite easy, lots of really long spike stitches. So let's get going. You can make it in as many colours as you like. I'm making it in single colour. I'll let you know if you need to do anything different if you are changing colours. I begin with a magic circle. You can begin however you wish. Now we are going to start with a chain 3 starting chain, or I like to do a false stitch instead. I have a YouTube video on my channel showing you how to do that if you're interested. I'm going to chain 2 and do a treble UK WS. And then chain 2 and a treble. We're going to do that until we've got 8 stitches in total, including that first one, with 2 chain spaces in between, but we won't do the last 2 chain. I'll show you what to do when we get down to the other end. So 8 stitches, and I'll show you what happens next. Alright, so I have 8 stitches now. If you're changing colours, chain 2, join with a slip stitch. If you're not changing colours, chain 1, and we are going to pull the magic circle tight. Instead of joining with a slip stitch to our first stitch, we're going to join with a double crochet UK, single crochet US. Oops. So what that does is it puts us as if we're in the middle of one of the 2 chain spaces, which is where we need to be to start the next round. So the next round we're going to start by a chain 3 starting chain or a false stitch. Then we are going to do a treble UK WS in this next stitch here. Then we're going to chain 2, skip the 2 chain space, do a treble UK WS in the next stitch, and in this 2 chain space we're going to do a stitch, chain 2, a stitch, all trebles UK, doubles US in this round. Okay, so we do that all the way around, and I'll show you what's next. Okay, repeats are done. I just need to do a stitch in the same place as our first stitch, which was here. And if you're changing colours, chain 2, join with a slip stitch to your first stitch. If you're not changing colours, chain 1 and join with a double crochet UK, single crochet US. And again, it puts us in the middle of our 2 chain space. Alright, now we're going to chain 3 starting chain or false stitch, and then we're going to do a stitch in the next 2 stitches. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip the 2 chain space, do a stitch in the next 2 stitches. Then in our 2 chain space, corner space, we're going to do 1 stitch, chain 2, 1 stitch. Done. So that's our corner, that's our side. I'll do that all the way around and show you what's next. Okay, repeat's done. Just need to do a stitch in the same place as our first one, which is here. Again, chain 2, join with a slip stitch if you are changing colours. If you're not, chain 1, join with a double crochet UK, single crochet US. Alright, next round we're going to do our spike stitches. We're going to start with a double crochet UK, single crochet US over the joining stitch, so in this big hole here. Then we're going to do same stitch in the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to do 1 double crochet UK, single crochet US in the 3 chain space. Then we are going to do a spike stitch all the way down into this 2 chain space down here. So poke your hook in, bring up a really long loop, yarn over through 2. Then we're going to do another stitch in that 3 chain space. And then 1 in the next 3, 1, 2, 3, and in the corner, 1 stitch, chain 2, 1 stitch. So that's that. Just make sure you pull up a really long loop and you'll be fine. I'll do that all the way around and show you what's next. Okay, repeats are done. Uncross that spike stitch. Just need to do a stitch in the same as our first one, which is here. Chain 2, join with a slip stitch if you're changing colours. If you're not, chain 1, join with a double crochet UK, single crochet US into that first stitch. Alright, now we're going to chain 3 starting chain. Then 3 times we're going to do this little repeat. We're going to do a treble UK WS in the next 2 stitches. 1, 2. Then we're going to chain 1, skip 1 stitch. So 2 stitches, chain 1, skip 1 stitch. We're going to end with 2 stitches. If I can ever finish. So you should be skipping that spike stitch. So that's 3 times our little repeat. Then we've chained 1, skipping 1, and our last thing is to do a stitch in the last 2. And in our 2 chain corner space, we are just going to do 1 stitch, one stitch, chain 2, 1 stitch, done. So we do that all the way around and I'll show you what's next. Okay, repeats are done. I just need to do a stitch in the same place as our first one, which is in that hole there. Again, chain 2, join with a slip stitch if you're changing colours. If you're not, chain 1, join with a double crochet UK, single crochet US. Okay, now we are going to do chain 3 starting chain or false stitch. We're going to do a stitch with all trebles UK doubles US in this round in the next 3 stitches. 2, 3. Then 2 times we're going to do this little repeat. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, skip the 1 chain space, sorry, and a stitch in the next 2 stitches. So that's 1. 2. Now we're going to chain 1, skip the 1 chain space and do a stitch in the next 3. 1, 2, 3, and our corner, same as last time, 1 stitch, chain 2, 1 stitch. So I'll do that and show you what's next. Alright, repeat's done. Just need to do a stitch in the same as our first. Same as before, chain 2, join with a slip stitch if you are changing colours. If not, chain 1, join with a double crochet UK, single crochet US. Alright, another spike round now, so begin, it's all double crochets UK, single crochets US, 1 over the joining stitch, then 1 in the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are going to go way down here to this stitch to make our spike stitches. So poke your hook in, again, long loop, then a stitch in the next 2, and then this one will be in the actual spike stitch from before. Long loop in the next 2 stitches, and another long loop, and in the next 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And our corners are simply 1 stitch, chain 2, or 1 stitch. So do that all the way around and I'll show you what's next. Okay, so that is the spike round done. Just need to do a stitch in the same place as our first. Chain 2, join with a slip stitch if you're changing colours. If you're not, chain 1, join with a double crochet. Alright, we've only got 2 rounds to go and I'm not going to show you them all because they're really easy. First one is a treble UK WS round. We do 1 stitch in every stitch along the side, in every corner, 1 stitch, 2 chain, 1 stitch, and then the last round is a double crochet round, UK, single crochet round US. I think you can handle it. So I will do all of that and show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, I've done my rounds of treble UK double US and double UK single US. I just need to do one more stitch in the same place as my first stitch, then chain 2 and join with a slip stitch to my first stitch, and Bismarck will be all done if I can do the slip stitch. Oops, throw away my crochet hook. Alright. So there you have it. Bismarck. If you need to adjust the size of this one, you can add another round like we did the last one, or leave it off if you need to make it smaller. Bendigo Woolen Mills cotton, Cascade Ultra Pima cotton. I think it's a pretty cool, easy square. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks so much for getting the pattern, and check out spincushions.com for more crochet fun. Thanks. Bye.